You're still watching TVC News at 10. Let's turn our attention to business now. Nigeria's gross domestic product growth declined to 2.98%, lower than 3.46% recorded in the fourth quarter of 2023. According to the latest report from the National Bureau of Statistics, the growth rate is higher than 2.31% recorded in the corresponding quarter of 2023. The performance of GDP in the first quarter of 2024 was primarily driven by the services sector, which grew by 4.32% and contributed 58.04% to the overall GDP. The agriculture sector also saw a modest growth of 0.18%, improving from a decline of 0.90% in the first quarter of 2023. The industry sector experienced a growth of 2.19% compared to the 0.31% in the same period last year, while services sector contributed more to the aggregate GDP in the first quarter of 2024 compared to the corresponding quarter of 2023. And now the Central Security Clearing System Limited has declared its 2023 financials before shareholders in Lagos. Ifeanyi Ikob covered the event, and now the reports.
This is annual meeting of shareholders of Central Securities Clearing System PLC, a full subsidiary of the Nigerian Exchange Group.
Victoria Island. 100.
Company's management presents the audited result of financials for 2023 after confirmation by auditors.
If you look at the general macroeconomic environment, you will find that, of course, we had a change in government and we had a very, very strong performance, as far as the capital markets are concerned. So the core business of the company, which is the clearing and the settlement of transactions, had a very strong uplift as a result. Away from that, if you also look at the numbers, there's some very strong non-core revenues also that the company was able to report.
Great performance and huge improvement came through the report. The company grossed earnings of 19 billion naira against 11 billion naira of 2022. Data sales and new business innovations accounted for revenue jumps.
About 5 years ago, we brought in Oliver Wyman, which is a consulting company that worked with the board to define a strategy for 4 to 5 years for CSCS and had a visual result for 2025 being 20 billion. However, we were able to bring it forward to 19.7, 19.8 billion this year because we had taken the right decision to work with the partners, taking the right strategic output, strategic design that we wanted to do, and as a result, what you're seeing is what you're seeing right now.
Company managers assured investors of brighter future as business assets values continue to rise.
They are running the company nice, and we are enjoying them because they pay our dividends once it's due. They don't delay when paying dividends, and that is what most shareholders needed. Not the general meeting, but what they give us to us as a return of our money we pay to them to buy their shares. So I appreciate them, they are good.
The Central Securities Clearing System will house this electronic data and documents of the capital markets. The company has plans to increase its footprint across West African stock exchanges as depository service provider. Ifeanyi Ikob, TVC News, Lagos.
And now the Statistician General of the Federation, Mr. Adeyemi Adeniro, says the National Bureau of Statistics is collaborating with Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria and other stakeholders in Nigeria to come up with data to determine the true figures of the housing deficit in Nigeria. The NBS boss said this in Lagos at the Reading Investiture. Sunday Viniba filed in this report. In this hall are government officials, real estate developers, traditional rulers, captains of industry, diplomats, among others. Part of the focus here is to seek ways to address the housing challenges across the country. To tackle these challenges in the real estate sector, the National Bureau of Statistics is partnering with developers, traditional rulers to improve the economy through the provision of affordable housing.
NBS is working with RIDAN to gather data on housing availability and determine the correct housing deficit in Nigeria. This data will guide government, industry players in the real sector, in the real estate sector, and stakeholders in planning and implementing policies to close the gap I'm confident that MBS and Reden will deliver this data swiftly, enabling government and private sectors to achieve the goal of providing affordable housing for all Nigerians.
Hierarchy of needs for humanity, when you talk about food, the next thing is shelter. Whenever you want to drive any economy, you need to rejig the housing policy of any nation.
For the president of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and others, effective collaboration from all stakeholders will boost Nigeria's economic development and enhance the nation's GDP.
Estate developers must unite, and we must support our collective voices through the association. Our founders envision providing affordable housing for Nigerians, including social and rental housing.
The capital market supports the real estate sector by providing funding and risk management avenues such as real estate investment trusts, equities, bonds, crowdfunding, and financial derivatives.
These stakeholders want the federal government to wake up to the reality of a regional impact the sector has on the economy, while major players must wake up to embrace crowdfunding and new technological trends to further bridge the gap in the housing sector. And our weekend deals saw the stock market close in red as many investors and fund managers stayed largely on the sales windows. And now the market index measuring prices changes in the trading sectors dipped by 0.37% to underscore losses on investment. Some of the companies that made gains on their share prices were International Energy Insurance, Cotis, Jais Bank, Sovereign Insurance, and Japan Gold. Downside traders with business losses included PZ, First Bank Holding, ETI, and International Breweries.